welcome to the very first ever Your Feelings Are Valid podcast. How do you feel about sharing the story of like the inception of how you came up with the name, or how this came together?
Well, I have this this came together because I have this mission in life to undo loneliness. So that it looks like everyday gestures to remember people and approach them, even if they're not in like the context I see them in, which is how many of us go, and it actually happened. I'll get there. So I was walking into Costco and I was like, oh, it's Rane. And I was like, hey, let's hang out. And he's like, yeah, I love that. And he said, and I was like, yeah. And we started walking and talking and having a good time, chatting about groceries and life. But I think I just want to make one point really interesting, because it like about the loneliness thing and the context thing and how we just so easily like disconnect. So we had this really wacky moment where we were looking at locks. It's a priceless moment. I desperately wish we had that on video. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Right.
Yeah, I still remember that moment. I still tell people about that moment if anyone else is listening who happened to be there, which I know there was one person that you knew,
Yeah,
who just happened to be in that moment with us and happened to be able to co-create that with us. So
yeah.
big shout out to her if she's listening.
Brittini,
this goes out to you. Just for context, I did not know what locks were. I didn't know this was like, I was like, I've just been going to Costco. So we met basically, we didn't, this wasn't the first time we met, but we just happened to meet serendipitously at the Costco here.
right?
So it just worked out well. You were leaving, I was entering. And I was like, hey, what's up? You like saw me. I was kind of in my like get the Costco card out of the wallet motion. So I just remember like we ended up going on this like Costco adventure, and I bought a bunch of things I don't usually do. So thank you for that.
Same.
And one thing I bought that I do usually buy, but I didn't know this is what it actually was. I usually get this like prepackaged, pre-cooked salmon. And I was just like, hey man, let me show you like one of my favorite things to get here. I love this salmon. And you're like, oh, you mean locks? And I'm like, I didn't know this was a thing. And then as if like just like God came out of like the Costco aisle and just like it was like as if Moses just parted the Red Sea. You were just like, oh yeah, don't you know what locks are? And then your friend was like, oh yeah, locks. She just also knew, and I'm just like looking at you, and I'm like, this is the thing. This is the thing. And that's how we learned that I guess I'm not as Jewish as some may think I am based on how I look. So
People think that you're Jewish.
this is actually a common thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I never thought that.
Okay. I'm glad. Thank you for sharing. Because, it's an interesting, like I find it usually happens less with people who are not Jewish, but I find usually people who are not, it happens less with people who are Jewish. That's what I meant to say. Usually
people who are Jewish don't assume you're Jewish?
Usually not.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I would say people who are not Jewish usually assume I'm Jewish.
Fascinating.
Yeah. No, I don't want to say it's like every time I meet somebody, but I have had multiple instances. I've had friends even who like introduced me to their Jewish friends because they're like, hey, you're going to love these people. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I get there and then I'm like, oh. And then like years later, I've had friends be like, so yeah, they'll like introduce me to like their Jewish friends, like on like a double date situation. And they're like, yeah, so what's it like being Jewish? And I'm like, well, actually, I'm like 1/16 Jewish. So it's,
yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. So it's like just enough where I think people are like, this guy, he's going to like these people. And I'm like, okay, all right. But not enough to know what locks are. So I think that's the moral of the story here is like, I didn't realize there's like levels of being Jewish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the basement level. That's like foundational level Jew.
That's like 1/8. I'm like
At
not
least.
quite. Yeah. I'm like still at the 1/16. I'm like, lox, I thought it was salmon. And I've been cooking it, which I didn't know. It was apparently intended for bagels, just as like with schmear, like just to put it on the bagel.
Yeah.
And I was just like, look at this salmon. I can cook this. I literally brought another friend and showed this other friend the salmon. And I was just so happy about showing someone else, like, look at what I found. So thank you for allowing me to see that it actually is intended for a different type of food. Like I just was cooking it solo, just in a pan, just sauteing it. And yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, every time you tell me that, like, I mean, it was so great. The best part, I mean, it was such a great part of this because I was like literally mind exploding when you're like, oh, you cook that. You definitely cook that. And I was literally like, what? No, it's smoked. And then I think what's really great is that there's this woman I know just from random events in the community who I saw just like 10 feet away. I just turned around and there she is. And I was like, I just turned to her. She didn't even realize who I was. I was like, I remembered her name. I was like, Brittini, do you cook lox? And she's like, no, they're smoked. They're already cooked. What are you talking about? And who are you?
That was my personal favorite part, by the way.
Yeah.
Was like, she looked so surprised that you knew her name.
Yeah.
And like, for me, my experience of that was like, I thought you just had somehow miraculously guessed her name. Like based on the look on her face, it just sincerely seemed like she didn't know who you were. But even though you did actually know who she was, and you had gone to her events multiple times.
Yes.
And it just happened to be that she was right there for you to ask for lock confirmation, which worked out very well because I feel like we got to, you got to teach me about locks and reconnect with Brittini.
Yeah.
Which shout out to Brittini. I actually had not met her before, so I had no idea that you knew her. I just thought she was a stranger, some strange woman in Costco who happened to be like entertaining us and like was like, oh yeah, locks. But then I realized you actually do know her, and then she realized it too, and that was my favorite part.
She doesn't know. Like, she didn't. She knew. She didn't know how she knew. Yeah. She didn't know me. She's been around me. Yeah, several times, but I don't think she actually did. And the best part was, it happened again.
No, when?
Like 3 weeks, 4 weeks later. Like I literally kid you not. I'm walking down. I'm walking on the green belt, and she's walking her dog, and I was like, "Hey, Brittini," and she didn't notice me again. And I'm like, she's like, who are you? And I'm like, at this point, I'm just like enjoying the mystery that she still can't figure this out. And I was walking with a friend. I was like, mysteries, bye. So she doesn't actually know who I am still.
So she still does not. She's committed to not knowing.
Yeah, she's very committed.
I feel like the funniest part would be if she actually did see this podcast.
That would be amazing.
Would become like a full circle moment. Like if this podcast somehow like went viral, got like 1 million views, and all of a sudden she's like, wait a minute.
That guy.
Hold on a second. I think I might not know that guy.
Yeah.
I think I know where I know that guy from.
Yes.
He's the guy that I don't know.
He's the guy that I actively pretend doesn't exist every time I see him. And now this is the karma of pretending I don't exist.
Just scrolling on TikTok one night, you know.
She's like,
wait a minute.
It was so amazing. This has been unfolding. So
thank you for sharing your experience that you've reconnected with her not knowing since that moment, because there's just like a bit of like a poetic irony to that for me, you know, because ironically I feel like she's a part of what brought this podcast together, and she still doesn't know that she's a part of that, which like there's just something beautiful I find very beautiful about that.
Yeah, it's like it's like some magical mischief,
Yeah.
like sprinkled into the core of this whole concept, which is lovely.
And you are the Wizard of Costco. So I feel like
So
she's part of your magic. So thank you for sprinkling that. That was, I remember that was one of our parts of the conversation.
Yes.
You bought me a hot dog after we checked out.
Yes.
And I just was reflecting on that moment in real time. And I was like, I feel like you're like the Costco wizard. You're like, you know, somehow magically connecting people. So I feel like this is aligned with your mission too.
Yes.
Like, you know,
totally. Like I really wish that the thing is, it was really beautiful because the whole thing is full circle. So I've seen you in numerous random contexts, and I've always like, hello, Rane. I always just say, you know, it's never like, I've never ignored you.
it's true.
Right.
And thank you for that. And I feel like I've remembered you,
Yeah.
who you are.
Yeah.
Let me know if that's accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like I do my best to remember people. And speaking of which, if you feel called to share some more about yourself, like how would you describe yourself? Like how is your how would that be? How would that sound?
I'm an explorer of life, and I've made that my art, my profession, my career. I'm just so curious about what makes people behave and act the way they do and think the way they do and believe the way they do. And you know, that's how it kind of lets me be a little bit more mischievous, because I have a certain experimental, like scientific brain. I'm like, what if I didn't do the thing that you're supposed to do because society tells you to do it? What would happen?
I'm fascinated by that premise. I'm wondering what an example of that would be in your life, that you feel like you were like, you know what? I feel like society told me to do this, and I was like, what if I don't do that? Like, I'm curious to hear your perspective and your experiences around
It's
that.
a simple one. When I recognize people, I always say hello to them.
Yeah. Wow.
Like most of the time, in most contexts, I see people that know me and they go blank,
Wow.
or they go, hey.
Yeah.
And they have no energy around it. They have no intention around trying to like engage with me. It's like I'm talking about trying to create a world of connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I see how people make it so difficult. And so I feel very motivated to be like, why is it become like a normal thing to be like, you, Rane, I met at an open mic night with your guitar. So when you're not holding your guitar, I no longer know who you are. You're not a person anymore. Like, that's weird to me. Like, you're just holding an object. You were always a person.
Yes.
You know? And I was like, okay, there's some whimsical qualities about you I found endearing. I was like, oh, okay. It's the fucking Nixon peace sign thing that you do is amazing. It's uniquely you. I've never seen anyone do this way. I was like, oh, okay, this is a Rane quirk, and okay,
yes.
I'll acknowledge him. Right. So,
Thank you for acknowledging me. And your feelings are valid. I do resonate with that a lot, with encountering people where I've literally had moments where I'm like, I feel like I know this person. Do I say hi to them? Do I not? Because I've also very rarely have had this, I don't know if you resonate with this. I've had this experience where I'll say hi to someone. I'm like, hey, but it's actually their doppelganger. It's someone who looks like pretty much exactly like them.
yeah.
And it's not them. And so I'll like, actually one time I went up to this woman. I was like, hey. And then I like got to the point where I was like right next to her. I was like, oh, this is not the same person. She just from a distance looks the same.
Oh, yeah.
But then it was like her doppelganger. It's just this like very similar, but not quite. So since then I started to be like a bit more like, okay, maybe I don't say hi just ever. Maybe because it might not be them, even though it's really rare that happens. And usually I say hi. Like usually I'm like, okay, this is the person. And I resonate with that though, because I also feel like I've had whole discussions with my family about this, where I remember, they would say like, oh yeah, like worst case scenario, they'll just be like, And that's a good point, because I feel like in society that is like a standard reaction. If someone says, hey, even if we know each other, that's like or like, hi, And it's fascinating what you're saying with like the instrument, you know what I mean? Like, hey, we're still people, even without the instrument, without the, we don't need, like, I don't need to grab I was like literally thinking about putting the shot together. I was like, I don't need to put a guitar in this shot. I think, what I mean? It's like, we're people, we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
And it's been fascinating. Like, I love that you mentioned that, because I feel like sometimes I am seen as like the guitar guy. I am seen as like this guy, and I'm grateful that you see me as more than that. So thank you for sharing your reflection. I appreciate that.
Your feelings are valid.
Thank you. I know, as they would say in ALA.
I just finished ALA this weekend.
Congratulations. How was your experience with that?
That was awesome. I'm very much looking forward. It's really funny at saying ALA. Perfect timing. I mean, literally miraculous timing.
Yes.
It was really triggering and frustrating. I almost quit. And yeah, I was very fortunate, serendipitously. So I literally walked out of it about 70% in-ish. And I started like doodling on a napkin I found on a table, because I was like, I don't know what to do. And the trainer who's in there 10 hours a day, just in that moment decided to step out and use a restroom. And he's in there all the time. And he goes, hey, what are you doing? And this guy does not talk to anyone one-on-one. He's like, a big deal and whatever. And I told him, I was like, I don't want to be in there. I'm pissed. I'm very frustrated. I don't like what's happening. And he confronts me very clearly and lovingly, and we work through it. And I had like a little bit of a breakthrough right there about my own self-limiting beliefs. And it was really inspiring. I think that program really inspired me. So
thank you for sharing your experience.
Did you do ALA?
I did.
Oh,
I did. I went into level 3, and I had a breakthrough in the opposite direction. I decided to leave.
Really?
Midway through level 3. I made it through the first weekend of level 3, and I just had this. I did a lot of deep reflecting, and I talked to my coach, and I was like, hey, I'm just feeling like, I'm just not feeling like I'm able to show up here in the way that I'm needed to show up.
Really?
And so I decided to bow out of that. That being said, congratulations on completing. That's a huge accomplishment, especially to make it all the way through level 3. I know that's a lot.
Oh, no, I didn't do level 3. I just did level 1.
Oh,
I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
No spoilers. I will not. I don't think I'm allowed to spoil it.
You're not allowed.
It's a secret.
They would be pissed.
Yeah.
Be like, let me put it on a podcast.
Oh, they have been.
Oh, yeah?
I won't talk about it on the podcast, but that's a secret. It's confidential information.
They have been pissed at you?
I'll just say allegedly. I definitely was taken outside at one point, allegedly, and I had like a one-on-one with the captain.
Really?
And it was a bit of a hey.
You're a troublemaker?
Yeah, I was considered a troublemaker.
Really? That's amazing. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I would really love if anyone thinks of Rane as a troublemaker. I never thought of that. I thought Rane is the sweetest, nicest dude I've met in a while. Wow, that's really interesting.
Thank you for your feedback.
Yeah.
I was surprised too. I felt like in the container, I mean, I'm probably not allowed to say too much, but basically I felt like I was saying things I could see where like, I definitely felt triggered.
Of course.
And I felt like I said some things that maybe, rather than like soothing that, maybe like escalated a bit. So I could see where like, there was a conversation that happened, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful. Shout out to the captain for like talking about that. I did have, there was like another moment, but I feel like I'd learned a lot. I really learned a lot. I'm grateful for the people in ALA. Shout out to Chris Lee. Shout out to the whole crew.
Yeah, that's my trainer dude.
Oh yeah, Chris.
Oh yeah, he was that was a dude in the hallway. That was Chris Lee.
You talked to Chris.
Yeah,
I love Chris.
People don't talk to him one-on-one very much.
Chris is a great guy, man.
Yeah, I'm a fan. He definitely inspired me. Like,
I am actively still inspired. I resonate with that deeply. I still feel very moved by Chris. I feel like he's one of the best speakers I've ever witnessed in my life.
Yeah,
I felt incredibly moved with just the way he shares his story, how honest he is, and how raw he gets. It's like he will just go there and just lay it on the table, and it's like, wow, this guy is like, he's got the fire. Which I also deeply resonate with how personal he gets with like how he shares his life story.
Yeah.
I feel like when I hear him sharing it, I feel like I'm like, oh wow, I feel like I'm actually living it with him, like reliving those moments. So big shout out to Chris. I'm grateful that you've been able to talk with him one-on-one too. That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, it actually like really inspired me. The day I was doing some therapy, and I had a new client this morning, and I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. I hear that there's some miracles in store for you. He's like, miracles? I said, man, I want to see some miracles happen for you.
Yes. Preach.
Yeah, I was like getting really I was like into it. And he's like, and I asked him, I was like, do you know why I'm saying miracles for you? And he's like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's like, cause I think that I'm hopeless. And I said, exactly. Because you don't believe what I see for you is possible. And I want to see you in experiences. I want to see you manifest this stuff. And I'm like, Chris Lee, hello.
Yes.
I'm like, God damn. I'm like, give me permission and watch me cook. And I was like, okay, I just love feeling his like love, his like unfettered, unrestrained love of like expression. Like,
yes.
It was, I think the world, like that's what we're doing. Like that's what we were doing out there. Like the Lux thing. It was this unfettered play and love.
Yes.
Hey, you, Lux. What the hell? It creates fun and joy.
Yes.
And that's, I think those risks, your feelings are valid, right? The risk to take, to put yourself out there so that you're valid enough. Even if it doesn't go well, you're still valid. I think I love that. That was a great idea. Your feelings are valid because you're valid. Even doesn't go the way you want, you still matter. I still matter. So keep going.
Yes.
Right?
I deeply resonate with that. Thank you for
You're
sharing
welcome.
your experience. And that was actually a big breakthrough I had from ALA. That was one of the breakthroughs. I was like, yeah, your feelings are valid. It's like, even if I feel like it really humanizes people, especially when we would, do like feedback rounds and hear people's stories. It's like, wow, there's something about like hearing where someone's coming from. And then like, it's like, oh, that's why someone is closed off. It's like, wow, getting to actually hear someone's deep, deep wounds and like actually understanding where people are coming from and why people are the way they are. I feel like it allowed me to see a whole new level of other people. And also it allowed me to feel even safer with sharing my feelings with other people, because I'm realizing sometimes the best way, the deepest way to connect with someone is to be really vulnerable and to say like, look, this is how I'm really feeling, even if it's raw, even if it's like uncomfortable. Like sometimes that's the connection comes through that like this is how I didn't get what I wanted. This is how that happened. This is where I am now. And like, I find sometimes people resonate with that even more than like, I got what I want, I'm great. Cause I feel like that's like a very common, I feel like that's like the Instagram. That's like, look at me, I got my Bugatti. You know what I mean? It's like, the Andrew Tate kind of thing or whatever. It's like, I look at my skyscraper or whatever, but it's like, how many people go on Instagram and are like, I didn't meet my goals. I did not live up to who I said I was going to be. And that's something I've been exploring lately. And that's something I feel empowered to explore through ALA and through that teaching. It's like, is it better to just keep to myself and set these goals and just never tell anyone, or to actually tell people and say, look, this is my goal. And even if I don't achieve it, to put it out there and to say, hey, here we are. Here it is.
Preach. Your feelings are valid there.
Thank you.
Great. This is our catchphrase. Thank you.
Your feelings are also valid.
I totally 1,000% resonate with that. I was such a failure growing up. I remember this specifically and it not going well for me. I'm sure it had nothing, it's partially, but like I was doing an RA interview in college. I wanted to be an RA.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
My voice is still messed up from the screaming, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn, we did so much. Oh, well, I said it. I'm not going to say from what. Yeah. I just said the screaming. Okay. I didn't break any rules. I digress. But I remember saying they're like, what did you accomplish in your life? Well, I tried this and I failed. I tried that and I failed. I tried that. And I was like, they're like, did you succeed in anything? And I was like, well, I guess. I mean, I got to college, but I remember this moment. I'm like, I could feel them being like, you suck because you failed. But I was like, what the heck? How does anyone ever, and I even then I thought, okay, how do you ever become good at anything unless you constantly experiment and fail? I mean, I failed forward my whole life. And I've failed to the point where now I'm in this miraculous moment in my professional life where I'm like at the top of my profession. Like it is what I do now is a miracle. And how I get compensated for it is a miracle. And I never thought I would be anywhere close to this level of freedom. On a Tuesday afternoon, I have so much space that I can go do a podcast with you and lose nothing for it and make no sacrifices for it. I had the time. But I failed so many times to get here.
Mm-mm.
And I fail all the damn time. Because I think what you said is so important. It's like I'm constantly taking risks.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think is what we've I think going back into what I was suggesting, our theme is forgiveness.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who needs the most forgiveness?
Mm.
We do.
Absolutely. Right? Oh, I deeply resonate with that. I feel that in my body.
Right.
And that's something that, I feel as well. I feel like I failed forward my whole life. Just like, and something I really resonate with is I feel like even like just the desire to connect with people, there's so much risk for failure. Even just to reach out to someone, even just to say hi on the street and just to be like, hey, I know you, hi. Because someone could just be like, who are you? Like, I don't remember you. I don't know you. There's so many opportunities for failure. And the beauty is when we just keep on failing forward. And that's where I find the most fulfillment, because I've even found like just simple things, like even just asking my friends like, hey, can I play you a song? And I had a friend the other day, not naming names or anything, I had a friend tell me no. And it was this beautiful moment where instead of reacting, I just like went touch base with myself for a second. And I just said, feel underappreciated. And it actually turned into this beautiful conversation from that moment of just being willing to fail, just being willing to say like, hey, and then to put that out there. And then it became, I feel like, a very healing moment.
Yeah.
To actually talk about those feelings and to break through some of those blockages, some of that resistance. And I love what you're saying too about the freedom. It's like, hey, it's a Tuesday. We're just talking about, whatever is on our hearts, and forgiving. That's a big thing too, because that was actually the breakthrough my friend told me after, I expressed how I felt underappreciated. She said she asked me if I ever felt like I'm my own worst critic. And I was
this
fly right here is like part of the conversation. Like, whoa.
It's like, I want to be involved in this.
It's like, your feelings are valid.
Oh my God.
So yeah, moral of the story, forgiveness for ourselves. Yeah.
Wait, what was your friend asked? You said something was really important. That was right as the fly bumped into your face. You were like, your friend asked you what?
She asked me if I ever feel like I'm my own worst critic.
Oh.
Something like that, just to paraphrase what she was saying. That I felt like that was the intention of her message. And it's something I've been reflecting on. And I'm realizing I feel like there's a part of me that became my own worst critic to protect my inner child from the criticism of others. Because I felt like if I criticize myself more than they can, then they can't hurt me anymore. Because then I'm the one who hurts myself.
Yeah.
And if I'm hurting myself, I feel like I'm protected, which is in some ways a twisted place to be, because there's also this like, I'm hurting myself in some ways. Not like I'm not cutting myself, but it's like I feel like I'm diminishing myself in some ways.
You're emotionally scarring. I would say you're emotionally lacerating yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an invisible wounding.
Yeah.
But you are cutting yourself, I would say. It's actually, I would think that was astute.
Yeah.
The thing is, we just do it psychologically, emotionally, spiritually.
Yeah.
You walk around bleeding all the time.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I'm already hurt. How badly can you hurt me?
Yeah. It's like, I already dug into myself. I already feel pain. Like if someone says, oh, my music sucks or whatever, I'm like, I already knew that, my friend, and especially putting myself out there more. And that's been a big lesson from ALA is like, why have I been playing small? I feel like that's been a big theme of that program that I learned from that. And I feel like that's what Chris embodies in a lot of ways. Chris Lee says, like, he talks about how he felt like he was playing small in his life. And then he realized, why not just go out there, put himself out there.
Yeah.
See, and even if people don't connect with that, even if people don't resonate, at least we fail forward.
Yeah.
We fail forward and we see like, okay, let's try something new. It's like what Einstein said. It's like, look, as long as we're, just to paraphrase, I think he said something about the locks and the schmear, but but I think what Einstein was really saying was like, the definition of insanity is to try the same thing twice and expect different results. So I feel like the beauty of failure is like when we fail and when we've learned from it and we say, okay, it's like what you said. It's like but just being willing to try and being willing to learn, because the only way we're going to learn is to try the thing. And then if that doesn't work, noted. Thank you for your feedback. Let's try something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, the risk, I think that's just like a way of being is like risk oriented, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of like nothing good happens. Like, of course you can live your life and just not take risks. Like I could have gone to Costco, I could have seen you, and I could have even if I said hi, I'd be like, hey Randy, you could be like, hey Mike, well, I gotta go shopping. You gotta be like, I gotta go shopping. Let's have an average shopping trip. And nothing happens.
Yeah.
No risk.
No risk.
No, and there was no reward, but there was no pain either. So we were just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But instead, what if life was one unfolding adventure everywhere I go?
Yes.
I don't need to go to like Colombia in a hostel to like have crazy experiences and memories. I'd be like, okay, let's go walking around Costco and you show me some new stuff and I'll buy some of it and you'll tell me about it. And one of those conversations ends up being this incredibly wacky moment. And then it gets even wackier because I see something that would invite somebody into this adventure we're having. Let's invite people into our adventure.
Yes.
Let's take that risk. And it worked. And it was ridiculous. It all unfolded in a way that only in a movie you'd imagine. But I think that's the willingness to fail and to be risk oriented.
Yes.
Because sometimes you will have, in fact, I think a lot of times I have at least serendipity. I have weird, inexplicable moments where I'm like, oh, there it is again. Oh, I'm walking down the hill randomly on a Sunday afternoon. And by the way, it happened in this weird way because in this specific moment, because I had just popped my tire.
Oh, wow.
On my,
I didn't know about that part.
Yeah, it was a weird, I was going on an adventure. I thought I could drive to the hike or I could use Google Maps and bike to the hike.
Okay.
And of course, I'm riding a freaking road bike on a mountain bike trail that I didn't know was a mountain bike trail. And shockingly, I got about 10 yards in before my tire exploded from all the jagged rocks.
Wow.
And then I ended up having to walk. I was already like a couple minutes late. And then I ended up walking like a mile with my bike, kind of lifting it the whole walk.
Oh, wow.
Which was annoying. But all of that happened in this weird, adventurous way to end up being where I am walking into the entrance of this park at the exact same moment that Brittini is walking out.
What are the odds?
You know?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But I was aware. I was in the moment, and I allowed that moment to unfold as it should, which was recognition.
Yeah. Thank you for recognizing that.
You know,
when we allow ourselves to unfold, that's when I feel like the synchronicities start to come in like that. I feel like that's when God is like, gives us a cosmic wink. Is like, here's how you know you're on the right path. It's like, that's when the people in our lives start to just come together.
Yeah.
And I deeply resonate with that. I feel like I've shared experiences with people as well, where it's like, we just happen to cross paths. And it just, if I had been like in another state of mind, like, oh, I need to get here fast, I need to like go from point A to point B, instead of just letting life unfold, I feel like I would have missed that connection. And that's something that's my reflection from your experience, and that's why I'm grateful that you're sharing this opportunity to allow life. And I feel like that is actually one of the 5 qualities in this book my dad gave me. I think it's called How to Be an Adult in Relationships. I think that's what the book is called.
And one of the qualities is
allowing.
Allowing
people to be. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And I feel like allowing.
People suck at that.
I resonate with that. Your feelings are valid.
Oh, oh man.
It's something I've been reflecting on every day now. It's like how, because I'm realizing I can reflect from my point of view, and I'm realizing like how much do I feel like people are allowing me to be myself today, and it's a beautiful reflection. I'm reflecting in relationships too. I'm like, okay, I feel very allowed in this dynamic, or being able to like journal that and to write that down and to have a reflection. I find is very beautiful because I feel like it's a way to reconnect with the healthy communication habits in relationships, and to seek more of that, to be like, this feels good, this feels aligned. I'm looking for more of that.
I think they're going to keep weaving that thread back in order to allow, and we have to be able to have forgiveness.
I resonate with that as well.
If I allow you to be yourself, and I also would need to allow you to sometimes hold me accountable.
Yeah.
and that I trust that you'll forgive me. I allow myself to be imperfect around you because I trust that you'll be honest with me. You'll give me a second chance.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no allowing without forgiveness because they have to be perfect. We won't allow anything.
Yeah.
We'll always, I think this is what I see a lot in certain spaces that are with people that are hyper focused on their appearance.
Yeah.
They don't allow anything.
Yeah.
And they're always lying about it. They're always like, oh, I'd love to do something with you, Rane. You know, we're in this fucking world.
Oh yeah, I know.
And then nothing ever comes of it.
And then nothing comes of it. Yeah.
There's just,
Yeah.
they cannot allow themselves to be like, actually, I'm not, like you did so beautifully. Like, I think that was such an amazing story of just like, hey, you didn't just collapse with the no. You said, I'm allowing myself to stay present with the experience, which is, I feel unseen.
Yeah.
I think you said something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you allowed yourself to stay present so that you could stay in connection.
Mm-hmm.
If you're obsessed with appearance and perfection, of course, you don't allow anything truthful to happen. It's always, of course, I'll hang out with you, Rane. And the minute we turn away from each other, I'll forget you exist. And then I see you again. It's great to see you, Rane.
Yeah.
I love you, Rane.
Yeah.
What? Oh, look. There's cars outside. What do you think about those cars? I'm going to go try to drive one of those cars.
How about those muscle cars?
Yeah. It's just like, there's no allowing for truth. It's like, it's like this performance of being good.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your experience. That's exactly why I resonate with that connection, even if it's uncomfortable, with that accountability, staying connected and being in that. And the irony is I actually feel like we're more connected now after that accountability and that check-in.
Right?
Because I feel like there's trust that I will forgive. And that's beautiful to weave the forgiveness in, because that's something I feel like I really realized in Chicago. When I was living in Chicago, I'm from Chicago originally, just for some context. And there are things I saw over the years living in Chicago. I saw some very violent things. I saw some horrible things. And there was one moment where I saw a guy basically get shot to death gang style, in front of where I was living, and just on the edge of Evanston in Chicago, right on Howard and Western. And it's a long story. We don't need to unpack the whole thing right now. But basically, I was just feeling really distraught. And I was like, how do I unpack this? And I realized that the only way I could really make it through that was with forgiveness. That was the only tool I really could find. And maybe there's other tools I'm not aware of, but I feel like forgiveness was that was the one thing, that was my saving grace, where I was like, we're not perfect. And I don't know what that guy was going through to the point where he got into that situation. And, for a little more context, it was the police. So basically this guy had been on a serial killing spree that day.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I think he had killed a few people that day. And he basically ended up in the IHOP basically on the same block as I lived on the same block as this IHOP, right on the corner of Howard and Western in Chicago. And I just happened to be going to the studio to record some music that day with some friends. And, I get to the red light right outside my place, and he runs out in front with a Glock, and he looks at me, and I'll always remember this. He points it at me, and he's says something like, "What are your last words?" And at that point I was in a very dark place in my life, and I was just like, go for it. And then he laughs. He's like, "You live." And then he just runs off.
Are you serious? That really happened to you?
Yeah. So he runs off into the IHOP. I just thought he was just messing with me. I was like, all right, I'm just going to go to the studio. I told my friends about it. We wrote a song, but it ended up my friend texted me later that night, and he's like, "Hey, are you good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm just with my friend."
Are you serious? That really happened to you?
Oh yeah, it's on we could look up the news article too in Chicago. It's
that's a crazy.
Yeah.
Man, you must have been so freaking depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going through a breakup. I mean, we had broken up like,
Wow.
I think this was like the winter of 2021. It was like January 2020. It was like 5 years ago that happened. But we broke up like 2 years before that. I was still feeling devastated from that.
And would you have ever guessed? I think that is an incredibly astounding miracle, because I imagine nowhere up to that moment would you have thought that the misery you were enduring might have been the reason you ended up living.
Yeah.
Because if you had maybe been a different person in a different place, maybe that man shoots you.
Yeah.
But your indifference somehow and your transparency elicited, I suspect, some level of empathy from him.
Yeah. Like I somehow connected with him.
Yeah.
Like he felt like it was funny. He's like, oh, your life's bad too. You live.
Yeah.
like there was something like you saw that pain.
I think that is an astounding miracle that nowhere in your life up to that moment did you probably ever think, holy fuck, I have lost so much. I am in so much pain. And this pain is going to save my life.
I would have had no idea.
Did you ever think about that?
I, since then, have thought about it. But at the time, leading up to that, no.
Yeah.
I just felt I was so deeply in it. I had a very I felt very defeated.
Of course.
I felt like, well, it just sometimes I feel like life hands us cards. I'll pick a responsibility. I was not the best boyfriend in that relationship. And one of the beautiful things is I've actually reconnected with this woman. Even after, when the relationship ended, she literally told me, she was like, please never reach out to me again. I'd never want to hear from you again. I was like, wow, your feelings are valid.
How'd you reconnect with her?
She reached out to me.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, she reached out to me, actually.
Why?
Because I moved to Austin and she's
here?
It turns out she had also moved to this area, and I didn't know. This was unbeknownst to me. We both decided to move to Texas the same year, and we both moved here, I think, the same year. I think I was like the beginning of 2022. Technically, she was like a little bit before that, but it was very close. And she was actually dating someone else at the time. And, I feel it's really interesting because she told me not to use her real name. So out of respect, I will not name her by her real name, but she said I'm allowed to call her Claudia Sunflower, which she did not know about the Sunflower Club when she had told me that. So it's a very interesting thing. So anyway, just to patch the story back up to bring it back into I think I did a little bit of
asked her if you could talk about her on a podcast?
We did discuss this. Yeah, this was, we ended up reconnecting because she saw one of my ads for a show I was doing in Austin.
Oh.
And I was doing these shows in these beautiful homes. My friend has this beautiful home on Lake Austin overlooking the lake. Absolutely gorgeous. We did like a Valentine's Day show back in 2024. Beautiful time. And we ended up doing more shows in beautiful homes, nearby. And I was running ads. It was my first time ever running ads. I didn't think about who was going to see them. I was kind of just like, put them on Instagram, see what happens. And Claudia Sunflower reached out to me and she was like, hey, I love what you're doing and I'm so sorry.
What?
I would love to reconnect with you. And I just thought she was in Chicago. I was like, how is she? And she thought I was in Chicago. She's like, why am I getting these ads from Rane? He's in Chicago. And I'm like, why is she reaching out to me? She's in Chicago. And it turns out we're both in Texas. And yeah, so we ended up meeting up in San Marcos. Oh. And we met up, I think it was like the day after 420. It was like 421. Because I think I had a show. She actually called me. I think it was either on Easter or the day after Easter. And we had this very emotional conversation where we forgave each other and we realized we had grown. And that was the biggest thread of that, was the forgiveness.
Yeah.
And realizing hey, look, I own how I treated you. I recognize I did not hold myself to standards that were providing you of the affection and attention and acceptance and appreciation and allowing that you deserve. I own that and I'm sorry.
Wow.
And she forgave me.
What a story. I'm going to be like super honest with you. I had no idea how this was going to go today. I think in the spirit of adventure and risk, I was like, I mean, my experience of you, like in our interaction, was like super nice guy, wacky and whimsical, but I really never really spoke to you. And even our conversation in Costco was about freaking nothing. It was about food, pretty much, right?
The Costco cast, yeah.
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 And I'm like, wow. I mean, it's such an interesting adventure to be in this conversation with you.
Yeah.
And it's full of like life and depth and humanity that I did not experience from you yet. And it's so interesting to hit this other experience, this other side of you. I don't know if the world really gets to see very much of.
And that's why I'm grateful you're here.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that we are allowing people to see more of that side. And I'm grateful thank you for your feedback also. Thank you for allowing yourself and allowing me to express that side and to really dive into these topics that I hold very near and dear to my heart and love to share. I feel very passionate and very, not even more than passionate. I feel like it's really my purpose to share. Forgiveness is one of my central themes in life. That's really, especially after what happened in 2021, 5 years ago, and like allowing myself to even forgive that guy for killing those people. It was such a profound moment in my life where I was like, what was he going through that he felt like that was the decision that he would make that day? Like he woke up that day and was like, he just went on a rampage. And it's like, wow, that man was feeling something that brought him to make that decision. And I could only imagine the pain he was feeling. And I certainly don't condone what he did.
Of course.
I mean, that, I feel like it's very unfortunate. And especially to the woman in the IHOP that right before he was shot, he had held her hostage for about 7 hours or so and shot her in the neck. And then she bled to death on the floor of the IHOP. So just long story short, I did not go to the IHOP after that. It kind of ruined that IHOP. I actually did like that IHOP before that, but it just kind of ruined the IHOP for me after that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I just was like, ooh, this is a lot for me.
Wow.
So I don't know if anyone, I think they might, I don't know if that IHOP's still open. That might be kind of I don't know if anyone goes to that IHOP anymore. But
It's pretty tragic. I think what you said, it really just made me reflect. There was a This American Life episode many years ago. You know that one?
I love This American Life. Which one in particular are you thinking?
So there's one I never forget. It was one of the most profoundly human stories of pain and the need for empathy and validation. And it was about this guy. I think it was like 15 years ago. I swear, it's like such an old episode. The guy was like robbing banks. Oh, you heard this one?
Please
That's
refresh my memory,
crazy.
and fresh the memory of anyone else who may not have heard it as well.
That's crazy if you heard that one. And it was like, there was this moment where, I don't know, somebody talked to him about what he was doing. And he said, I'm not really interested in robbing the banks. I'm interested in terrifying people because I want them to know what it's like to be me. I want people to know how scared I feel, and so I scare them just as much. And I thought, damn, what an amazingly tragic expression of a desperate call for connection and a lack of. That is how I think despair can really distort the need for relationship. I mean, in the end, he was like, please just know what it's like to be me. Have empathy for me. And it never happened because I'm sure there's a lot of terrible choices that person made. But I mean, again, that's why I was like, oh, that person looked at you and he thought, oh, this person is in as much despair. It seems like they're in as much despair as me. So I'll move. I don't have this desire to teach them about despair. And I think that is ultimately kind of, again, like about this world where we cannot move forward if we cannot make mistakes and we can't forgive each other, we end up feeling alienated from each other. Because it's like, I made a mistake, and if I ever make a mistake, no one talks to me about it. And this is, of course, cancel culture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, people don't have conversations in cancel culture. They just go, you made a mistake, you're a bad person, and I will ostracize you. I will cut you out.
Mm-hmm.
There's no forgiveness. There's no space for that. And of course, it creates immense fear and loneliness. And there's no joy, there's no hope in that. Right?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
It's like, yeah. That's really, your story really resonates with that. The courage to take risks. And I think one of the most scary risks, tell me what your thoughts are, like one of the scariest things you could ever do is talk to someone about forgiveness if they've harmed you. And most likely because you've also harmed them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I resonate with that deeply. And your feelings are valid. There's actually even still, there's even still some connections where I have been able to, I'm grateful I was able to heal with that one relationship. And there's even another relationship where like, there's still a tension where like, I want to apologize. I want to reconnect. I want to make amends. And I feel like there's still like, sometimes I feel like, I feel like not both, sometimes it really takes two people to forgive.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like both people need to be open to that conversation. And if one person is reticent and is like, hey, actually, no, thank you, then I can forgive myself. It's kind of like, it's like the difference between like sex and masturbation.
Yeah.
It's like forgiving with two people. There was something, I felt like it released something in my soul deeply. I feel like it like released a penance from my soul where I realized I was like, oh, because I realized it was more than just me forgiving myself, which is great too. It was like, there was this like act of creation because it allowed us
a miracle.
It was a miracle. It's a miracle. Yes. Thank you.
Your feelings are valid.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so grateful for you bringing the miracle into it, because that was actually a big thing that we talked about. We talked about miracles.
With you and your ex?
Yeah. We
Let's
talked about miracles, and we talked about, because we met from a solar eclipse. We both happened to meet because we both went to see a solar eclipse in my hometown of Carbondale, Illinois. So I was born in like Chicago, that area, just outside the city. But anyway, I grew up in like a small town at the very south of the state, SIU, Southern Illinois University, home of the Salukis. That's our football team.
Cool.
Not the best football team, but hey, you know what? They're there.
Somebody's
exist.
heard of them.
Somebody has Salukis, you know. Yeah. So anyway, 2017, I think it was August, solar eclipse comes through the town. I would take the train down from Chicago. I was working in Chicago at the time. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to see this eclipse. I had some family still there. I was like, visit them, visit some friends. We're going to have a good time. And it was interesting. I was talking with a friend of mine. We've been friends, I think, since we were like 3 years old. We're still friends to this day. Big shout out to my friend, Lucian. He's living in, last time I checked, I think he's in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, man.
Got a house up there. But anyway, we meet up and we're talking about relationships. And he's like, yeah, you know, just if you just allow yourself to, you know, be honest with what you want, you'll find what you're looking for. And I remember it was deep wisdom, because little did I know, the next day I'm taking the train back up and there's this woman just openly smoking weed at the train station, outside the train station. And I look at her, I'm like, damn, she is badass. She just fucking, and this was like before it was legal to do that. It was like, she was just, I think she had like a chillum and she was just fucking hitting it. Like waiting to get on the train. There's like a whole line of people. She's just lighting up. I'm just like, damn, she's really hitting that bowl. I can blatantly smell cannabis right now. She's going for it. She's getting high. She's like, I'm not getting on this train sober. That's not going to happen. And it was actually this really interesting moment. Like, we only met because right before the train pulls into Chicago, I go to like get my bag. I had like I think it might have been that rolling suitcase actually. Go to get that from like where the bags are all stowed. And she just happens to be standing there and just starts this conversation. And she was like, hey, let me get your number. So she also happened to be down in Carbondale to see the eclipse.
Oh, she asked you for your number?
Yeah. So I gave her my number. I was like, all right. And here's the wildest part. I didn't even know this till like, I think maybe a year into the relationship. She actually went there to visit one of my friends from high school. We were both I used to run a philosophy club in high school. And one of the members of the philosophy club happened to be friends with this woman that I ended up dating because I think they like went on a trip to Paris together in college or something. Just like one of these moments in life where it's like, what are the odds? It's connection though. And I feel like what the moral of the story is that connection is a miracle in and of itself. And even if the connection goes south, being able to forgive is always a miracle. That's possible as well. And to really tie the story back together. So we met because of the eclipse. And then we both came down here and we reconciled, right? I think a month or two after the eclipse that came through Texas.
Oh, wow.
Back in 2024. Yes. So it was like an eclipse reconciliation as well. So this is a big theme of my album. A lot of the songs are written about that time period, about meeting her, about that. A lot of it's about like the collapse, but also this realization of why we broke up, which was she got into shamanic practices, as one does. You know, sometimes people get into shamanism. And she actually was doing a ceremony in Chicago. I was not at the ceremony. I was with my friend Noah. We were writing songs that night. And I was writing a song. I remember having this like very vivid moment where I saw one of my past lives. It was the first time I've ever had a vision like this. Uh-huh. And she calls me up like a day or two later. She's like, hey, we need to talk. And she tells me about a vision she saw of one of our past lives. And we both saw the same vision. We just happened to see the same vision totally separately in separate parts of Chicago. We just happened to reconnect with this vision. And so after seeing that vision, it became clear. It was like, it was one of those visions in life which it was like, ooh, let's probably not stay together. Basically, in the vision, it was, I think it was like 500 years ago. I was like a Portuguese sailor, and she was a Native American woman in South America, and we came and like, I murdered her. Yeah. And apparently this is a thing that as I've moved to Austin and gotten more into the conscious community here, I don't know if you remember Tanai or not from the Sunflower Club.
Oh, I know who she is.
She and I have talked about this. And apparently she does translations. This is a common thing that happens in relationships where like people tend to like remember past life pain and then want to recreate the relationship to heal it over. So how do you feel about that? I know we just suddenly got very esoteric with that.
Well, I was just having a memory because I had a very painful experience it ended up kind of helping me get to Austin.
Wow.
But there's one of the intimacy gurus who lives in Austin.
Yeah.
I went to this was like the fourth time I did one of his things, his weekenders. And I ended up being paired with her.
Oh, what was that like? I mean, if you're not allowed to tell, that's fine too.
I'm going to just maintain I'm going to just pare it down to my experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I have a tendency to do things my way. I am an extremely independent-minded person. Break the rules. Theme. Do it everywhere. You know?
Yes.
And as Chris Lee would say, I like to do things by myself, which is a racket. So we did an exercise and the guy was telling me how to do it. And I thought, this is crap. I'm going to do it my way. And I went like 50% deeper than I would have been if I had done it the way he told me how to do it.
Oh.
And I was in a process with her and she didn't know how to negotiate the depth. And I watched her totally withdraw from me. And I was like devastated. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I just like exploded. I just like ripped away all of my walls. And she was like, you're gross. Get away from me. And she didn't say that. I interpreted her withdrawal as something to do with me, which had nothing to do with me. It had her whole life story about. And then I did my whole thing. I was like super hurt. And I kind of brought it up. And then we ended up doing some thing where we ended up sitting down, and she's like sitting across from me, and she's like so upset, and she's like ashamed of her withdrawal, and that's her whole life story. And I'm like, here we go, playing my whole life story of taking care of somebody that I don't want to take care of. Wow. I'm in a wonderful place with you. I don't want to deal with your trauma, but I, in my own foolishness, broke the rules again. He's like, don't talk about the past or what's going on or something. He gave us a rule. I said, I can't ignore that. I can't talk to you. I cannot talk to you unless I deal with what just happened. And so I broke another rule. I did it my way. And we ended up in a situation in which I'm taking care of her. And she's like so emotional. And I'm like, oh, your feelings are beautiful. And she's like, you think my feelings are beautiful? And she is crying hysterically. And I'm like, yeah, I love this heart that you're bringing. And I genuinely want that from the women I am emotionally close to. I want it more than nothing else in the world. It's just such a gift. I'm like, I'm not scared of anything. As long as you bring it, I'm here for it. Like, I'll forgive you for everything. Forgive you for everything if you bring it. I'm not so good at forgiving when you take it away. I'm terrible at it. Right? Wow. In fact, I'm working through my interpretation of it, which leads me to be hurt and vengeful.
Wow. Your feelings are valid.
Yeah. So we ended up back in the container, and she just like walked away like nothing ever happened. And I was like, and I made that mean something. I interpreted that as she didn't care about me, and she didn't appreciate me, and it was all pretend. And I was like, oh, this is my whole life. I'm interpreting this as my whole life happening again, and I did not want to do that in this workshop.
Wow.
And I'm like a 9 out of 10 angry. I am very angry and with like despairing. And I'm like, I'm trying. I don't participate in any more stuff. I just sit there and I'm like, I give the middle finger to every exercise after this. And I'm like, they're like, look at this woman and see how beautiful she is. And I'm like, and this woman's like trying to like look at me all lovingly. And I'm like, fuck, get away from me. And I'm like, they're like, do some stupid exercise. And I'm like quiet and in a fetal position, like on the floor. I'm like, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to participate. And then I tell one of the people, and he's like, talk to the guru. I was like, man, I'm going in. I am now like a 9.5 out of 10 angry.
Wow.
I am furious. I have been stewing in my story that I am totally convinced that I'm a victim. And the only way out is to demand accountability from the leader. So I had this story, right? And he's in charge of me. I have no power anymore. I'm totally a victim. Yeah.
Wow.
And so they're like, go talk to him. He'll work it out. And so in front of a room of like 80 people, 90 people, I'm like livid. And he's like, okay, you have 3 sentences. Tell me what to feel, what you're feeling. And I'm like, I was like, all right, I'm giving you all my power and you're telling me how to behave. And this is more irritating. So now I'm a 10. I am like red. I am just, everything is red. And he's like, get up on stage. You have 2 options. You can either scream at a wall, or you can tell the women in the room that you're lonely. And they're like 40 random women. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to scream at the wall. That means nothing to me. And I certainly don't want to tell random women that I'm scared of that I'm lonely. That doesn't help me. That just humiliates me, in my opinion. It makes me more powerless than I already felt. Like I'd just given away all my power. I felt completely like a victim, and I wanted to be saved.
Yeah.
I think I really wanted to be saved, and I wanted him to save me, which is a story.
Wow.
And so I was like, no, I want you to be accountable to me because you made me. This is my story. Of course, it's not true. But I interpreted this because I broke all the rules. I'm looking at it now from much more accountable thing. You know, I participated in this program. I did it my way, and I ended up in a situation that I felt helpless in. And so I wanted him to tell me, like, yell at me. I wanted him to hold my anger. I wanted him to fix me. I had given him, again, all my power. And he said, either do this wall thing or tell these women and humiliate yourself.
Yeah.
Or leave.
Oh, option number 3.
Which is, you know, I've never seen anyone. I've been in many iterations of this experience, and I've never seen anyone walk off stage from him and walk away. And I said, exactly, like you said, 3. I was like, I'm out.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
Damn. How did that feel?
I think both like incredibly empowering, but also really sad because I like really wanted to be a part of that container, and I really wanted that woman to like reciprocate.
Yeah.
I wanted her to be like, hey, listen, that was amazing.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's really awesome that one of the first things I do is come back to Austin, and I go to the thing that I love to do, which is open mic nights. And one of the first people I see, speaking of context, all the things coming full circle, I am staring at her nose to nose. I am listening to her pour her heart out to me. It was only like 7 months prior. It was, but it's one of the most, you know, it seemed like one of the most impactful moments of her adult life. And I'm sitting in the open mic night, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, I know this lady.
Whoa.
And she goes, who are you?
No.
And I'm again.
No.
I'm like a victim.
Oh no.
I'm like in my victim
Not
immediately
again.
triggered. I'm like middle finger to you.
Yeah.
You don't remember me? We basically simulated sex together. Hello?
Wow.
How the hell? You said this was like one of the most special moments of your adult life. How the hell do you not recognize me?
Wow.
I was like personally offended and in my victim brain, and I antagonized her. And she, of course, got scared of me.
Yeah.
I interpreted, I believe that she was scared. We stopped interacting. And now, you know, that is my experience of that person in the world. Unfortunately, and I have to own that. There's a space here, right? I would say forgiveness is as a practice I am always wrestling with, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I see what I ended up doing, though, back to what you said, is I just was like, if I wait for people to do the forgiveness work, I'm literally waiting until I die.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you.
I resonate with that.
Right. But I'm right. Who initiates forgiveness in my life is me.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So I've done that this year, especially in Austin. Like I've had situations that were ambiguous or not totally my fault, but I was like, I just approach people and be like, hey, I'm sorry about what happened. It wasn't even my fault. People just get so scared of being imperfect, they withdraw from the connection. They don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
People are so afraid of being imperfect. So I was like, I'm sorry about that. And they're like, oh, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
And I just see the miracle of forgiveness gives people permission to relax.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I feel like my body like released.
Right? You're like,
As
oh,
you
that's
said,
a
I
lot
was
of
like,
tension.
Oh, thank you for sharing your experience around the community here too. Because I deeply resonate with that. And that's actually something I've felt coming into conversation and sometimes conflict with people in the community in Austin. I feel like I feel like it's been a reflection for me of how I've been avoidant in some ways
Right.
in my life, where I've been like, sometimes I feel like I don't want to forgive, right? And I love what you're saying about just being the one to initiate that, and actually saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to take accountability for this. I'm going to say I'm sorry because you know what? I accept that I don't need to be perfect all the time for everyone. That's beautiful. So thank you for opening up about that container too, and for really allowing yourself to dive in and to say, like, you know what? This is my story.
Yeah.
Thank you for seeing that story. Yeah.
Thank you for like holding it and receiving it like so like open-heartedly. I really felt you just fully listening. Like your attention was so like I felt held in your attention, which was very surprising and reassuring to me. I truly like really inspiring. I haven't said that story. I don't think I've even acknowledged that story. It's been like 2 years since that happened.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And I've just been like, pretend that person doesn't exist. And I pretended that thing never happened. And even in, I was just like, thank you. I was like, oh shit. And it's a real gift of your attention that I'm not sure the world always gets to experience. I certainly didn't expect that.
Thank you for your feedback. I'm grateful to hear that you appreciate my attention. And definitely that's something I resonate with, is like, I find like, especially in a story, to like, I feel like sometimes there's moments where I'll engage with it, like I'll re-engage. And I find sometimes if I move my hands, that allows me to like connect on a visceral level to the story too. And sometimes I feel like if like my heart is starting to like close up, if I move my hands, I feel like I can reopen my heart and like create more space to hold that. That's been a technique I've been practicing in active listening.
Amazing. So this feels incredibly full. I don't know if we like kind of take it home.
With that. Yeah, let's take it home. Let's go that, that full close. How do you feel like with wrapping it up? Like what's something that you would like to mention before, calling it?
I mean, I just felt really inspired. I think it's just really surprising and like fun to talk about forgiveness. I feel like it's such like you said, it's a release. Like, there's so much tension around the grudge.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's actually how I do feel like I would like to take it home here, is actually that was my breakthrough in level 2 of ALA. Not saying too much. There has been, a conflict I've had from a relationship here in Austin. And I realized that I was holding on to resentment from that. And I realized why. Because I was not expressing my desires, or if I did express my desires, I felt like they weren't being heard. And those are two big things where I'm realizing it's both my responsibility to take accountability and express my desires in communication, to say, hey, here's what I want. And it's also the other party's responsibility to listen when we're expressing and to receive each other. And even if it's a no, to at least acknowledge that and to say, hey, no thanks. And it's beautiful when that dance comes full circle. And that's why I'm so grateful for you being here today, because I do feel like you also are an amazing listener. And I'm very thankful for you inspiring me to come together and start this podcast, because there's actually many people who've asked me to do a real podcast. So believe it or not, I do live streams. I think I had like a decent number of people who were like, hey, when are you going to do a podcast? So thank you for actually being the first to step up to the plate and say, you know what? Even if we fail, let's try it. Let's see what happens. And
Amazing.
I'm just grateful that you're here. Thank you. Thank you for your presence, and thank you for sharing your experience as well.
It's a real honor and a privilege. Wow. I really, I think yes and energy is so invigorating and inspiring. And I've been inviting it in, and so often I would get yes, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Like,
I'm
pretending to say yes. And it's just like, it's such a limp, such a flaccid life energy. I'm like, let's fucking go. Let's penetrate life. Let's do it. Let's create. And I want to pretend to do it. Where is the joy in the pretend? I don't care. Say no. But if we're going to do it, let's fucking get in it. Let's take it all off.
If you're ever looking for a man who knows something about penetrating life, you've come to the right place.
Okay, clearly. I didn't know that, but I guess
I don't need to get into details, but I can assure you there's been penetration of life.
All right, good.
For sure.
Well, you're preaching to the damn choir. It takes one to know one. Because I interviewed for a training program for an old therapy guru.
Yeah.
And he didn't like me, and he was threatened by me. He's like, you are a penetrative man. I was like,
welcome to Texas.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback.
All right. So, it takes one to know one.
You are penetrative. I feel like that is one of the most beautiful forms of feedback I think I've ever heard anyone express. Thank you.
I was like, cool, man. That's awesome.
And thank you for recognizing a fellow penetrator of.
Wow, this is getting so weird at the end. I think we can only.
All right.
It's appropriate that we end it on a weird note.
Yeah, I think so. I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like we have penetrated this conversation to completion.
Totally.
We've used this word.
We've relieved. We've penetrated and relieved. All right. There's no PG.
Yeah.
This is a PG-13.
This is a PG-13 podcast for any kids out there. Just to be clear.
Amazing. All right.
Well, thank you, good sir. I appreciate you joining me, and your feelings are valid.
And so are yours.
Thank you. All right. Until next time, y'all.